All right, we are live and we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Give Her series. Remember, the Give Her series is where our community members, give back to the community from their expertise and their knowledge. And today's session is like a very important topic, but yet we don't hear much about it. It's not a trendy topic, but in my opinion, it's very much important in this day and age. And so today we are talking about digital well-being. And digital well-being is the speaker is going to introduce a topic, but just a little bit of an introduction is very important because at this age, where especially social media, the culprit is in charge of people's, is in control of human beings instead of the other way around. So today we are going to have an expert because she's a registered nurse, an award-winning one at that, and she's so devoted about personal development, and she's a research nurse too. So there's no other person better to speak about this topic than she's Roqebat, and she's going to come in any moment from now. So pay very close attention. If you are tired of being a slave to your to the digital world, if you're tired of being controlled by the digital world, so pay very close attention. At the end of the session, we are going to have questions for her, and I'm sure she's going to deal with them all. So, Roqebat, welcome, and the floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Okay.
Please confirm if you can hear me.
All right.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. Can you hear me?
Okay. I believe.
All right. Good afternoon,
Just
everyone.
to be here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Jennifer, I believe you can hear me now. Is it my network?
Okay.
All right. Once again, good afternoon. I am Roqebat Bolariwa, like she has introduced. I'm joining in from Ogumosho, Oyo State. I am a registered nurse as well as a personal development enthusiast. And like Jennifer mentioned when she was making the introduction, digital well-being is that very important aspect of personal development that doesn't make the headlines most of the time. And that's because we feel like it's not the conventional be consistent, be productive, time management, and so on. But we fail to see that the main problem that affects the other aspect of personal development, including consistency and discipline, is the way we use our digital tools. And they are supposed to be helping us. We are meant to control them, not the other way around. So today's session, digital well-being, is a way of combining digital and well-being. Well-being being how our health is, and then digital, the tools we use, and how we can merge them together to ensure that we are using them to our benefit and not against us. You can move to the first slide, please. All right. Digital well-being refers to the balance between technology usage and our personal health. I mentioned that already, and it encompasses how the effect of our digital tools can affect our mental and physical health. Firstly, physical health. It includes the way we are always holding our phones, the way it puts strain on our hands, the muscles, and how we feel so much pain after leaving a same position. For example, you are pressing your phone, you have been on it for hours, and when you drop it, you feel your joints, they are in pain. Same with our eyes. Most people use their phone with unaided eyes, no glasses or anything, and it results to headache after all. The main things you are supposed to focus on towards being productive, you're unable to do them again because you have wasted time, and then you're having a headache, and it is an inhibitor to your productivity. Another aspect of the physical health it affects is the neck. When you are so engrossed in what you are pressing, you are not even mindful of your present environment or surrounding, and by the time you probably the battery is low, or you get a call, or you realize you're hungry and you have to get up, you start feeling the strain in your neck. And this is just one or three of the few things that, of the many more things that physical health and digital well-being can be against each other. And for the mental health, I think that's more as compared to physical health. And one of the ways it affects our mental health is through comparison. During the time of, would I say, our forefathers, or some 60, 70 years ago, where digital tools were not as rampant as they are today, nobody gets to know how the other person lives their life except they are being told. And even at that, it's not as international, intercontinental as it is today. As I am in my room in Oyo State, I can see how somebody in Asia is living. I can connect with a friend in Canada this afternoon. And if I am not so mindful of how I prioritize my mental health, I might start comparing the way they live their lives with the way I live mine, and somehow it gets in the way of my productivity because I'll be experiencing serious anxiety, and I will fail to be grateful for the current things I have, which is a problem in terms of how well we should be prioritizing our mental health. Another one is how to, when you see other people living their lives, you might want to struggle to also meet that standard, and during the process you get to harm yourself. And this is one of the excessive dangers of excessive use of the social media as regards digital well-being. And I want to make a clarification that today, for the sake of this conversation, I'll be focusing on social media use and disuse, because this digital, it has a lot under it, but today's discussion is going to be on social media. So understanding and improving your digital well-being is what you need to make it's successful in this technology driven world, because technology has come to stay and there is nothing anybody can do about it. Please move to the next slide. So now, the importance. It helps you manage your screen time effectively. If you have three things to do, today being a Saturday, if you are not careful about how you manage your screen time, you end up realizing it is 5 p.m. and you haven't done anything, and you start panicking. At the end of the day, you might end up still doing nothing. So if you have proper knowledge of digital well-being, it can help you prioritize your screen time to ensure that you are productive. Another one is it promotes healthier relationship with technology and reduces feelings of anxiety and stress. I mentioned it in the slide before this. When you are able to prioritize as well as make proper use of your social tools, you would not have problem with anxiety. Oh, I was not done with that slide, please. Yes, this one. So it can also lead to improved productivity and creativity when you are not filled with stress and anxiety about things going on in other places. It gives you the ability to be able to think critically. Your brain will be able to process new ideas, and when you are taking in information, they stay for longer. Next slide, please. So, common challenges: overuse can result in diminished attention spans and increased stress levels. It is why you could be standing with somebody, you are sitting together, and you are talking to them, they are lost, they did not understand what you were saying, or they could not even hear you. And that's because too excessive scrolling, they have been scrolling from one app to another, and they are not even mindful of their environment. Last year, I was to write an opinion article on social media use, and I found a shocking statistic about Instagram, one out of the many social media apps we use. About 95 million posts are shared on Instagram per day. 95 million. And that's, if we would estimate it, about 6,700 posts per minute. Now imagine that huge number of posts. How many can you consume per time? So the rule is that no matter how long you consume, you can't get to the end of the internet. If you are mindful of how you use your media, you would not have problem with anxiety and being lost in conversations when you should be mindful. Also, it can contribute to feelings of inadequacy and isolation. You can be around so many people and you still feel lonely because you have not been able to maximize the technology that should be aiding you. Instead, it is working against you. And then the constant connectivity may lead to burnout. This is so true. And lack of work life balance. If you are unable to prioritize your routine, if you have to do list or not to do list, and you are unable to have a set limit for yourself. By 12 p.m., I should be done with this article. By 1 p.m., I should have sent these mails to these particular people. And there won't be work-life balance. And because there is no work-life balance, you will always want to catch up. And as such, you'll be working with deadlines. And by the time you are done with the deadline, you will be so burnt out. You won't enjoy your work, and it can even lead to feelings of inadequacy, such that you'll be doubting yourself, things you know you can do very well, because you are wasting so much time, and the little time, the limited time you have to rush and squeeze working. It will lead to compromise quality of whatever it is you are doing. Please, next slide. Now, the importance. Okay, strategies for improvement. Thank you. So this is perhaps where the main conversation is, because now we have seen the problem. How then do we solve the problem? How do we find a solution? I want to start by telling you that I have the mindset that it won't be easy, because social media or technology in general is indispensable in our generation of today. So you have to first tell yourself that it is possible, you can do it. But now you have to be so creative, as well as be willing to make sacrifices to ensure that Jennifer, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, it feels like I could hear an echo.
No, no, there is no echo.
All right, thank you. So you have to identify it within yourself and give yourself that mindset lift, that you know it's possible and you are going to get it done. Although the experiences I'll be sharing are based on my lived experiences, and some things I've read, some I just tried out myself and they were working. It might be applicable to you or maybe not, but just pick the bits that you can pick, add to it if necessary, or reduce, or anyhow just do what works for you. So now, setting your screen time. The benefit of setting screen time is to just be able to measure. I believe if you want to grow in any particular area of your life, you have to measure it. You can't There can't be growth if there is no measurement, because how do I know I am taller than I was last year if I didn't measure my height? So when you measure, it's when you know I'm making progress or I'm already coming down and I need to do better. So now, my screen time is automatic on my phone. I turned on the feature, and at the end of the day, I'm able to assess how long I spend on each application. If I spend 2 hours on WhatsApp, I'll see it, and my phone has a way of categorizing it, that you spent 4 hours on social apps. You spent, maybe I was reading on my Google Drive or my Apple Books. It will tell me you spent 3 hours on productivity, you spent 1 hour on finance, and somehow it gives me a clarity on how much time I spend per day and what I can do to improve. So I also set limits on my apps, especially WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the app I kind of use the most, not because I want to, but because I just have to. And these are just excuses, because I know that if I want to spend less time, I can. I've tried it numerous times and it works. In terms of communication with team, with the numerous organization I'm a volunteer or hold an executive position, I have to be there frequently, as well as class updates. Like they would jokingly say, if you are not online in my school and if you just go offline for 2 minutes, your classmates might graduate by the time you are back online. That's just a joke anyway, but it's just to show how important it is to always be online. But still, there are ways around it. You can always tell people to call you, and you can still go offline. You can have social media detoxes without still missing out on much. You will miss out on a little, but not much. And this is where we'll be talking about FOMO, but maybe the next conversation. So engaging in regular digital detoxes can refresh mental clarity and reduce stress. You don't have to be online all the time. Your mobile data could be turned on, or your Wi-Fi, but you don't have to be there. Someone just posted and you're the first to view it and the first to keep viewing posts. You have exhausted all the status updates of everyone on your contact list, and somehow it still feels like you are missing out on something. I remember I just mentioned the statistic of the number of posts made on Instagram per day. So no matter how long you scroll for, you can't reach the end of the internet. You just have to be mindful about your use. So there's something I tried. I discovered it in 2022 and I try it frequently. I don't know how it works for Android phones, but I have told numerous people that use the iOS device, and that's to go to your settings and you turn off allowing WhatsApp to access your status updates or your contacts rather. And once you do that, you won't be able to post on your status and you won't be able to view others too. And somehow your WhatsApp just becomes that boring app where you just chat. You can't view posts. And when you know that feature is blocked, it makes you feel like there's nothing to do there and you spend less time. There are cons, but it's just a way I try to be mindful of my use when it feels like I'm getting too addictive and I can't leave. I just can't delete the application. And for Instagram, regularly, I just delete the app off my phone. If I need to use it, I'll use the web feature. And at other times, I just forget I have the app, except someone just sends me a link for a contest. And I'll get to the point where it is an indispensable tool for many others. If you have a brand and you know you have to eat, in all of this that we are saying, work is important. I am also prioritizing my social media detox and well-being, digital well-being in general, because my kind of routine involves that I stay focused for longer. So if you have a brand that involves always putting out content, putting yourself out there for Instagram, and it feels like you have to post, but still you are getting distracted due to the energy around you, I propose having a digital to do. If I stay off WhatsApp for let's say I sleep at 10 p.m. and when I wake up, I ensure that this application, I don't use it in the morning because there's nothing to do there. The first time I'll be coming online, maybe 10 a.m., I have a list already. These are the number of things I'm going to be doing. Like this morning, two mails were the top of my priority. I wanted to send them last night, but I forgot before sleeping. And then I sent the mails. Then I checked the groups that I addressed last night to see if the respondents already responded to my messages. And then there were two or three other things. So those were the first things I knew I had to do. And then I set a timer for 15 minutes. Once the 15 minutes was over, I stood up and went to the kitchen. And somehow I was able to get rid of any kind of pull that will make me want to check somebody's post or to go to Instagram or to open YouTube or something. It won't always happen effectively on some days because you just can't deal with it. But the whole purpose of this conversation is to ensure that we are different from others. If it was easy, everybody will be doing it. It's not going to be easy, but you have to be intentional. If you, at the beginning of this year, told yourself you are going to, this is your year, this is the year you are going to do this and that, and now it is November, you're feeling like, what have you even achieved this year? You should be honest with yourself and ask, how have you improved this year? Was the way you were using your online tools last year, 2022, 2021, even 2019, is that not the same way you're still using it today? You don't expect things to change if you haven't first changed yourself. So you have to take yourself seriously. You don't have to wait till January. Today is 23rd of November 2024, and you can still make the decision to be mindful about your social media use today, to prioritize your digital well-being towards ensuring this 2024 is still your year. You have to just put these habits together in place. It won't be easy again, but you can get them done. Mindfulness and being present can enhance the quality of online interactions. My rule is, wherever you are somewhere, be there. For now that we have more of online lectures, I feel like there is somebody here. Well, I don't know if it's possible for YouTube, but once we use Zoom, Telegram, Google Meets for meetings or for lectures, people can scroll off the app and then go to WhatsApp and start chatting. And somehow they miss the very important details of the meeting. I feel like, why did you join the meeting in the first place when you knew you weren't going to be paying attention? It could be that um there was some drift that you couldn't just control. You just wanted to open WhatsApp, and from there you started chatting with other people. You are not being mindful in that way, and it's a waste of time. you either chat on WhatsApp or join that meeting, and maybe keep your phone far away such that you are just taking down notes. And if there is a need to ask questions or check what people are saying in the chat room, you can then pick the phone and use it. So being mindful is one thing you have to start practicing, because if you are not mindful of your social media use, you are just deceiving yourself. And if you would lie to the world, you shouldn't for any reason lie to yourself. So as I'm saying this right now, just see this as a form of reflection. How have you changed from your use of the media last year? And why would you think, if you haven't changed that you of last year, why do you think things should change for you? I mean, in terms of how things fall in place, how you are able to better manage your time and your routines. Please, the next slide. Are you there? Okay, I suppose she's having some network issues. I'll just continue. The next slide is talking about the tools you can use to prioritize your digital well-being and to stay mindful online. I wrote three applications there. The first one is Forest. Okay, she's here now. So I said many smartphones now have inbuilt digital well-being features. Some majority are not inbuilt, you have to download them. The ones I've used before is Freedom and Stay Focused. They both have free and premium packages, but as expected, the premium is better because you can set the number of time you'll be spending on each app per day, and you can lock your phone such that you don't have access to some applications for a particular time per day. So if you know you want to be attentive in class all through that day, and your classes would run from 8 a.m. to about 1 p.m., you can lock them such that no matter what, you are unable to open them. I've tried the free version of Stay Focused. I sometimes subscribe to Freedom, but not any longer because I was having issues with the payment after the free subscription ran off. But for the Stay Focused, even for Freedom, you have a way to set the number of apps. The limit is probably three. The last time I used it, you can set three applications. Mine was Instagram, YouTube, and WhatsApp. So if I don't want to use it during a particular time per day, I'll be unable to open it. But the free version will make you change your mind. You can go back to the app to set it. But for the premium version, you can't. So once you make that decision, it's either you borrow someone's phone, or and you can't delete the app too. You can't. It is that strict. But while we are not able to utilize those applications yet, there are things that you can still put in place. An example is this timer. You can time yourself. As long as you want to use WhatsApp, it is urgent that you use WhatsApp. The first use in that day, it will be for just 10 minutes. Once 10 minutes is over and you still feel like you need to use it, one thing I do is to change wherever I am. If I'm using WhatsApp in my room now and I want to use it for 10 minutes, once the 10 minutes is over, it doesn't matter who I'm chatting with. Sometimes I can tell people who chat with me very well, they know I say things like, my online time is about to be complete, or I have to go now, or maybe I'll tell them later. So once I see it's 10 minutes and I feel that longing satisfaction from using it and I still want to continue, I'll just drop the phone in the room and I'll go outside. I can just walk around the compound. And by the time I come inside, I just feel like now I need to get something else done. I could pick my laptop or my book, or to just get something done in the house. And another thing I do for selective use of the media is to, if I make a decision that I won't view any post, once I lose um that vow I made to myself, once I lose it and I decide to view one, I do not realize when I start viewing 27, 28. I don't know if it is magic, but it's just how those applications have designed their interfaces. You would always long for more. You always want to see what's going on. And that's where the fear of missing out comes in. You would always feel like you're just working now, you are bored, you're waiting for someone, you're waiting for a lecturer, and the first thing that comes to your mind is, I need to just check WhatsApp, I need to just check Twitter, and you're not looking for anything. It's not like you texted somebody and you wanted them to reply. You just want to check, and you check 2 minutes, you dropped it, you are just there, and before you know it, you have picked it again. If you check my phone, has the way I check the number of time I pick my phone per day. There was a day I saw 120 and I screamed, 120 times, really? If this is how much I pick my books per day, I won't be where I am now. Really, because you did not realize it was that long, and then you just feel the urge to just pick it up. So you can I know some phones have a way to freeze their applications. When you freeze it, you can't access it, but the you that freeze it will still go back to unfreeze it. So that might not even be effective in some ways, but you just have to keep trying. There was a time in 200 level that we had a lecturer release some slides few days to the exam. They were much. It was biochemistry, I remember. I think we had about 2 to 3 slides. And then I was thinking that I it was going to be expensive to print it out at that time because it was just this exam and I did not have a laptop at the time. So we went to class. By we, I meant I and a classmate. We were studying, and it happened that in between the studying, we felt like sleeping. The material was getting boring. So we gravitated towards the first response. That was to check our social app. I think ours was TikTok, mine was just this WhatsApp. And before we realized it, it was almost an hour. We're still checking, and we know we had to study. So by the time we tried going back to that book, it wasn't working again. Our mental attention was already focused on the scrolling, how it made us feel good, the memes people were posting, how they made us laugh, and then we had to read this boring material. So I just decided, how about we exchange phones? I will definitely not open your WhatsApp, and you can't open mine. And since we were reading the same thing, we just exchanged phones and we changed position. We didn't sit together. She went to the other side of the room and I was somewhere else. And that way we're able to combat that sudden addiction that wanted to get in the way of our studying. Another thing is to delete the apps, like I said, like Instagram. I don't know if you'll be able to post on Instagram if you delete the app, but for Twitter X, I don't have the app on my phone again. I only download it if I have to speak on spaces or if I want to listen to spaces, and that's really rare. In fact, some weeks ago, I had to delete YouTube despite how beneficial that app is for me. And that's because I gravitated towards watching shorts, all these Reddit shorts about a story of one person, and then there'll be cooking videos. I wasn't gaining anything from them. I just enjoyed watching them, and I saw that it was a waste of time and it was getting in the way of the other things I should be doing. So I just automatically deleted it. And if I want to view anything except I want to download, which I can do on my laptop by the way, I'll just watch it on the YouTube web. And since I'm not signed in, there won't be any recommendations and I won't want to stay there for longer. What I'm trying to say in essence is that you have to be the one, you have to be the driver of your own destiny, and you have to be able to determine what to do part time and how best you can limit your social media use to ensure that it is for you and not against you. You must be honest with yourself. If an application like TikTok is not adding anything to you, instead it's just a tool of making comparison between yourself and other people's life. Okay, this person has this particular wristwatch, this person just got a new phone, and you start feeling depressing feelings. I made a post sometimes last week about, if I'm not grateful for what I have now, how would I be grateful if I have more? And this is just something I feel we need to put into consideration. Please, the next slide. And I believe this is the final slide. So technology is here to stay. It is here to stay, and every day new technology will be released, new software, new applications, and they are here to make our work life easy. We don't have to do the core hard things when we have tools that can make them easy for us, but these tools should not be inhibiting the main productivity they are actually here to optimize. So you have to be very, very mindful, and well-being will become increasingly critical. It will get to a point where children, I mean less than ages of 4, their their most used tools will be their mobile devices, and we see it now because they give them assignments on their tablets. They now receive online lectures, and if from that young age we are not teaching them, we their siblings and parents are not teaching them to be mindful about their use, you can imagine how much of a distraction it will be to their productivity, as well as the kind of lives they'll be leading in the future. So it starts with us now. And if we are intentional, there's almost nothing we can't achieve. So companies may need to prioritize user mental health and well-being in their designs. I saw this viral post sometimes in July or August that most companies that allow people to work remotely, they will now want them to come back to the office. Probably they see that their productivity diminishes per time, and that could be because they are not mindful of how they use the media, and they feel like if they are in the office in everyone together, they will be able to control them or to have them do what they are required to do within the time range that they should be doing them. And finally, ongoing research will help develop new frameworks and tools for better digital well-being. In my little way, I've been contributing my quota to ensure that people are more mindful about their digital well-being, and this is through my written posts and also a channel like this interaction that we're having. I believe with time, more work will be done, and we also can contribute our quota towards ensuring that we have more adults who are intentional about their digital well-being. Last slide. Yes, and that's it. These are my references. Thank you so much for listening.
I feel like I just like clapping so loudly. Like you did justice to this topic. I'm particularly very happy about this session because I am a victim. I'll not even lie. I'm a victim of this. Like you are, it's as if you are fighting with these tools. You are fighting with these apps. Like thank you so much, and I'm so glad you gave helps tips to actually mitigate this. It's actually a disease that is eating deep, and we don't even know. That's the most scary part. You just fall into that trap and you keep going down before you realize yourself. A whole a whole hour for a productive work has gone down the drain. Thank you so much, Roqebat. Like this is so helpful and so much needed. I love the work you do. This topic, most people don't like. They don't teach it. I don't know. Maybe they feel it's not needed, but if we should use like you half of the time we spend on social media, half of the time we spend on devices. If we use it for more productive work, I'm sure we would achieve more than yeah than what we are achieving now. So thank you so much. I'm going to put this to practice. I don't know about you listening, but this is very especially now we are going to the new year. You don't carry this habit of mindless scrolling to the next year and continue repeating the cycle. Thank you so much, Roqebat, and we are so grateful that you are here. So we are hoping if there is any question from the audience, now is your best time and best opportunity. See, she's not always on social media. We better ask her your questions now. So yeah, right. Thank you, Mustafa. Yeah, she says the session was amazing. I was so happy. Any questions for her so that she can answer them before we let her go? If there are no questions, we'll leave her. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should ask one. Yeah. You okay? You can hear me, right? So yeah.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. So I know you talked about it. Um social media is like a huge part of what you do, like a huge part of your work. You should have a to-do list. That one was like was amazing. Yeah, you should have a to-do list um and follow the to-do list plus the timer. I love that part so much. So what about like I get people like I'm a social media manager or something. They'll say I'm a social media manager. I have things to do on social media. How that they can't stop even if they want to stop. Like what will you say to this person. She said, I can't stop. Like sometimes I'll want to stop. I'll set the timer will go off. I'm still there. How do I get up? How do I stop? Like I've heard someone say this a lot. How do I stop? Even when the timer goes off, I cannot just stop. So what will you say to this person? Yeah, I think that's the question.
Thank you for the question, Jennifer. Can you hear me? All right. At the beginning, I made a disclaimer that this might not work for everybody. And I could see from the perspective of this social media manager because I'm also into content. But let's be honest with ourselves. If you can't stop now in 2024, 10 years from now, would you still allow social media still rule your life and you are unable to control it? I think what should work is the person should always have bits of time scheduled to this work that they do. It won't be the same every day because weekends we can't compare it to some weekdays, and then some other things will always come in place. But at times I recommend the person to leave the environment. If it is possible to just leave your phone in your room and just go outside, if it's to go out with your pen and your book to think up content ideas, or maybe if they have an alternative device, maybe they should use their laptop more and use their phone less, or as much as possible, because I don't know the person now and I can't ask the main questions of how does a day in your life look like. But you just have to ensure that as much as possible you are controlling these digital tools that you are in your possession, because if you don't want to compromise on quality, there are new and more people who will be emerging as social media managers in the future. In fact, we can see them presently, the VA course that we see people talking about every now and then. So if you want to stand out and you still want to remain relevant, you must be somebody who is quality oriented. And one of the ways to do this is to ensure that your focus is always where you are. When you are somewhere, be there. If your work revolves around the social media management and you have to study market trends, you have to see what your competitors are posting, how you can do better, you still need to batch arrange your time. It doesn't have to be the whole 24 hours, such that when you know that when you leave your social media management at that point, you are able to better focus on the other things that matter in your life, maybe your spirituality, maybe academics, or even your relationship life and other things that matter to you as a person. Did I answer the question?
Yes, definitely. You did justice to that. We should try our the person should try her best, like set that schedule. And I love that part about leaving the room. I've not heard it before, but I love that part, leaving the room. By the time you clear your head outside, you are coming in with ah. And another thing is discipline too. You should try. Just try. I'm telling yourself the truth. That's where it starts. So thank you so much. I'm sure this person, she has gotten clarity. Thank you so much, Roqebat, for coming. Thank you for your time. We really do appreciate this. Thank you for honoring the invitation and for sharing your expertise. It was really insightful and helpful. I really wish a lot of people should come and watch this. Like it's so much needed there. So thank you so much once again. Uh, we are
Thank you.
glad. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
All
you for
right.
the honor. So,
All right. We hope to see you again. Like this should be the end. We hope to see more of you and more of you. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. This is the end of the session. I'm sure that you got so much from this session. I found it so insightful. I went away with practical tips that will help me. And you should to is putting it into practice. It's not about just listening, it's actually doing the job, executing action. That's where the result comes from. I believe if we limit our social media addiction, let me call it what it is, an addiction, if we should limit it, we would get more work done. Even we get our focus is affecting our focus. Like a lot of us, we don't even know how to focus anymore because we are always jumping from one notification to another, and our focus being distracted. So when we learn this digital well-being, it's a very important topic. I love that she's doing this work because it needs to be done. It needs to be done. So put these things, these points, the practical tips she has shared into practice, and I'm sure by let's not just say next year, start now, start now. the results will surely be different. So thank you once again for your time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying to the end. And this is like the final episode of GIVHER series for this year. So thank you for being with us. Thank you, Roqebat, for rounding it up all. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.